Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Wanted to give an update on the Volkswagen here. This is Monday. I actually got a whole bunch of work done over the weekend. I made one video yesterday, but I didn't like it, so you don't get to see that one. You get to see this one. I hope this one's better. The big news is I got the thing running. I swapped out the cam belt. Who knows when the last time that thing got changed. And I also bought a little dial indicator. It's a little kit for checking the injector pump timing. So if you don't know the difference between diesels and regular internal combustion, between gasoline powered internal combustion, is there's no spark plugs with diesels, and the diesel pump is a very precisely machined piece of equipment, and it delivers a very precise amount of fuel, and ideally at the correct time. So whenever the piston comes up, it compresses like a lot, like, you know, probably at least 2 or 3 times more than a regular internal combustion engine, gasoline fired. So what happens when you compress a gas is it heats up. So whenever that piston comes all the way to the top, it heats up like a lot. And then you shoot in a metered amount of fuel at the right time when it's at its hottest, and then it ignites just because of the heat of the compression. So that's how it works. So you need to have the injection at the correct time, and you need the correct amount of fuel. If you have too much fuel, you end up with black smoke. You end up rolling coal, which, you know, if you're 18 years old and you live in Tennessee, that's a really fun thing to do. I'm not 18 years old. So I want to inject this at the right time and with the right amount. So the cam timing, as it turns out, was off. So there's a little on the back side of the camshaft up here, this overhead cam, there's like a slot, and you put it like an 1/8 inch piece of steel in there in that slot, and it rests flat against the top of the cylinder head, and that represents top dead center for the camshaft. And then with the cam belt on there, so that means theoretically that'll be top dead center for the crankshaft. And you come over to the back side of the that thing right there, and then you can see a little timing mark on the flywheel that aligns with the bell housing. As it turned out, it was about 1 tooth off. So my cam timing was off. That means that the intake and exhaust valves were opening either too early or too late, probably too late, or opening too early. Or anyway, they were not doing what they needed to do when they needed to do it. Likewise, the injection pump, because it's on that cam belt, also wasn't injecting when it was supposed to. Then, like I say, I bought this dial indicator thing, and that just kind of shoves into the back of the injection pump, and it measures. I don't know exactly what it measures. I guess it measures a piston or something. I don't know, but it measures what it measures. And the procedure is, you put everything at top dead center, you preload this thing into about 2.5 millimeters, then you back the engine off. You turn the engine counterclockwise until the dial indicator stops moving. Then when that happens, you zero the indicator, then you rotate the crankshaft back to top dead center with your marks over on the flywheel. And ideally you want to have 0.83 millimeters of travel, of whatever's traveling. And in this case, I had about 1 millimeter of travel, so too much. So the way you fix that is you loosen up the bolts on the mount for the injection pump, and you turn it, and you turn it until it's at the correct thing. Then you you manually crank the engine using just a ratchet. You run the engine through a few revolutions, and then you just double check it. And I double checked it 2 or 3 times just to make sure that it was correct. And when I put the new cam belt on, I made sure that that was timed also. So everything is aligned and timed, and like it's supposed to be. And then I was really nervous, and I went ahead and cranked it, but it didn't happen. It still didn't start. And I did that 2 or 3 times. Then I discovered that for whatever reason, the glow plugs weren't coming on. And then they just started coming on, which is kind of worrying. That's never good when you have an electrical problem that just sort of goes away and you didn't do anything to fix it. So I don't know. Anyway, once that happened, then it acted like it wanted to light. It spit all kinds of white smoke out the exhaust and made just a horrible mess. But it never actually did light off. And then I pretty much got fed up with it and just convinced myself that the low compression is the reason for it. Because like I said, if you don't have enough compression, it doesn't build up enough heat in the cylinder, and it won't light off that engine. It won't light off the diesel fuel, no matter what the timing is. And I was just gonna drain the coolant and get elbow deep into grease and grime and pull this cylinder head off and see what it looks like. But I thought I'd give it one more shot, and when I did that, it fired, and it scared me, and I turned it off. And I tried it again, and it fired, and it scared me, and I turned it off. Third time is a charm. It fired off, and I just kept a little bit of throttle on it to kind of let it to let it get its bearings, and then let off the throttle, and it just sat there and idled, and it was pretty exciting. I turned it off almost immediately because I didn't have any of my fan belts on, and one of the fan belts runs the water pump, so I didn't have any water circulating through, and that's not a good thing. And then dryer's going off, phone's ringing. Yeah, so I didn't have the water pump wasn't running. You don't want to have an engine running without a water pump circulating. And then the oil in here hasn't been changed since who the hell knows when. So that's 5 or 6, 10-year-old oil. So either way, I didn't want it to run very long. The cool thing is the oil gauge actually went off, which means I have oil pressure, which is fabulous. And it ran, so that's pretty exciting. And that just tells me a lot of things. It tells me that one of the cylinders doesn't have a hole in it for some reason. The valves aren't bent. I have enough compression for it to run, and possibly the reason for the low compression is since it's been sitting so long, condensation and stuff could have got on the valves, and they're just not seating properly, and perhaps with time that will fix itself. I don't know. If not, I'll just take the cylinder head off and have the cylinder head rebuilt. But in the meantime, it runs, and I'm really happy with that. I put some power steering fluid in the diesel that I was running through this because the forums, you can always trust the internet, right? Say that you should put some of that in there on an engine that hasn't started for a while because it's more of a lubricant. I don't know how true that is, but I did it anyway. And I also got this stuff. It's what is this stuff called? This was on another forum, and if it's on a forum, it must be true. It's called Diesel Purge, and I guess it's the strong medicine for sick diesels that cleans your engine and reduces the emissions of CO2. Probably nonsense, but I fell for it and bought it anyway. Put some of that in there. So all that stuff's in there sitting right now and soaking. Then I moved on to the rear brakes. The right side rear brake was essentially locked up whenever I brought this thing home, and I had to take the drum off and take all the shoes and everything out just so I could roll this thing. And this was the culprit. It's a wheel cylinder. It was just seized up in the on position, and so I got 2 new wheel cylinders and replaced them. Then I moved back from there, and you can't see it, but all those lines go into a load sensing valve. So if this is fully loaded and the suspension is down on that little bump stop there's a tremendous amount of load back here, so there's a lot of weight. It'd be nice to have a whole lot of braking action back here so you can slow down. But if you unload all that weight and now it's really light back here, you don't want to have the same amount of force applied to your brakes. So that's what that thing does. It was all locked up and rusted too, so I took it apart, cleaned it out, and put it back together. That's pretty cool. The next thing on the agenda will be to come up front here and take apart this front suspension a little bit. If you can see it, this is a boot for the steering It's all cracked, so I got 2 new ones of that, so I'll replace those on both sides. And then likewise, the boots for the CV joints. The other side, the boot is broken, and so that needs to be replaced. So I just went ahead and got 4 of them. So I'll replace all 4 of those. I'll clean the CV joints themselves, put them in the parts washer, and clean them out real good, and just check all the little CV joint balls. I bet you didn't know they had balls, and just re-lube them and put the new joints or the new boots back on them and assemble it all back. The discs are all rusty. I could probably take these to a shop and have these sort of turned, or I could just get a sander and just, you know, sand it down. The brake pads are they have a lot of pad left on them. They're hardly even, they're brand new. The same was the story with the rear shoes. They look brand new. So either somebody did me a solid and did a brake job before it stopped running, or it's just really legitimately has 48,000 miles on it. So I don't know. Anyway, that is, oh yeah, the other thing I did is I replaced the blinker switch, and what else? I think that's it. Yeah, to do that, you got to take the doggone steering wheel off, and one of these, there's 3 little plastic doohickeys that sort of snap into the horn button there. One of these doohickeys was broken, and the fix for that is I just glued it. And there's like a little cavity that sort of goes around it, and I just filled it up with epoxy, and that should do that. That should take care of that. And what else? I think that's it. So that's pretty awesome. Just kind of moving on, and have this thing on the road and driving in no time. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.